Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Michelle Languages podcast. Today's episode is going to be about accountability in language learning. But what do we mean with the term accountability? Well, basically it means keeping track of your progress while learning a language, in this case of course. Why is it important to keep track of your progress while learning languages though? Because first of all, when you look up then at your records, at your what you wrote down in the past, you will actually notice how far you've come from the start of your journey, which is an incredibly incredible motivating tool. You need a motivation to stay constant. So staying accountable is actually super useful, but it also actually helps you to notice how much time you're spending learning languages. And if you also write down the single details, you will actually realize the amount of time that you spend on active learning and on passive learning, which is extremely useful to create a balanced language learning routine. But there are so many different ways in which you can stay accountable while learning languages, and I wrote down like 4 different examples that are my favorites in my opinion. But let's start with the first one, that of course is the most used one. It's also the most popular one, but I think it's also the most effective one in my opinion, which is social media. Why social media? Because in this digital era, we are so lucky that we language learners can find many places in which we can share our journeys, our victories, failures, tips and tricks that help us overcome a difficult situation. But it's also extremely useful because when we have doubts, we can share our insecurities on the different platforms, and we can receive almost instant feedback, which is extremely useful. You just actually need to find the platform that you prefer, the platform for you, because how you approach the accountability process on social media really depends on the kind of platform that you like and you choose. Of course, the first one that is my mainly platform is Instagram. Instagram is extremely useful for language learning because you can receive almost an instant feedback from one of the most active community over there. And I think that the Studygram, or this language community on Instagram, is extremely active. So it's really motivating. You get to know other learners, other creators, and it's extremely motivating in my opinion. So Instagram is also perfect if you like sharing pictures, if you're like taking them. So it's also perfect for all those people that are looking for graphic kind of content, which is extremely useful. And it's also a really versatile platform, so you can create videos, you can actually create almost whatever you want. So Instagram is extremely versatile and useful in my opinion. Then we have Twitter. Twitter, the hashtag that is used from the community are 2, which are StudyTwit, like study TWT, and also LangTwit. Over there, the community is extremely active as well as on Instagram. But I think that the exposure that you get while posting is much less than Instagram. So when you post something, people see like for a couple of hours, then it disappears in the TL. So to be honest, I like it, but not as much as I like Instagram, to be honest. So Twitter is pretty active. There are several games over there, so it helps you also build the community and find new friends. But I think that you don't get much exposure, so your voice tends to be I don't know how to express this, but you don't get much exposure. So if you have problems, and you want to address a particular situation, maybe you won't receive that much feedback like on Instagram. I think that Instagram allows you to stay more connected with the audience. But this is my perception, okay? So don't get me wrong. It's just my perspective, okay? Then we have Tumblr. Tumblr was pretty popular back in the days, and the StudyGround community, or the StudyBlur community, well, actually, I think it's where it all started. It's kind of active, but I think that posting on Tumblr is something that requires you a lot of time because you have to write, and the posts over there are mainly written, so they're in a text form. So it's incredibly useful if you share tips, and you want to share also your journey, but it's not really that interactive because it's more of a blog where people read you, but it's difficult to interact, in my opinion. Then last but not least, we have YouTube. This is the most creative one because you actually create your videos and you share your own perspective, but you also have to record, you also have to edit and music and stuff. So it's incredibly creative, and if you have a creative mind, I think that's the main platform for you. But it's also really challenging to keep up with creating videos, but it's incredibly rewarding in terms of communication. So when you communicate through a video, people are super interested in content, and in the comment section you will probably receive many feedbacks about doubts or like other opinions. So I think that YouTube can be a very great platform if you really want to invest it. So before actually staying accountable on YouTube, you have to keep in mind that if you want to receive some kind of feedback and you want to grow in order to also build a community over there, you have to keep in mind that it's a hard job and you have to provide quality in your content. I am saying this because I want to be really clear with you. I don't want to say that you can do anything, you just open an account, you upload something and then everything blows up. No. If you want to stay accountable on this kind of platform, you have to commit a little bit. You have to keep in mind that if you want to have feedback, you need to grow a little bit. You don't have to become like the brand new sensation on those platforms, but you have to keep in mind that you need to reach people, and reaching people sometimes can be a bit stressful. You have to work on it, so you have to work on it, okay? Don't get me wrong, I just want to say the truth and I want to share my perspective after 4 years on the gram, and right now also on other platforms as well. Then we have communities. Communities are those small communities, platforms, etc., that are created by fellow polyglots that are becoming even more popular with time. And this kind of accountability system is great if you're quite shy, because this could be a better option as you interact with fewer and extremely motivated people. Some examples I can provide you are the Gladly Global community or the Polyglot Union created by Mari. So there are several kinds of communities over there, but I think they are perfect if you're quite shy and you really want to commit yourself to learning languages, because these kind of communities require a membership fee, but they provide you other services as well, not only accountability, but they also provide you not only accountability meetings, for example, but they can also provide you, videos, extra content, printables, resources. They give you methods, they give you coaching sessions as well. So it's a well-rounded kind of system that allows you not only to stay accountable, but also to grow and improve, especially your study method. So the way in which you actually study. Then we have journaling. Journaling is, I think, I know you may favorite method. I just want to say hi to Ali, a friend of mine over Instagram. She's super cute, and her language learning journal is incredible. She gives almost daily updates on her journal, and I started to have a journal as well thanks to Ali, and it's really simple. It's a very easy method because you can keep track of your improvements by creating specific tables or views in your bullet journal, your digital journal, for example, Notion, or you can use habit tracker app on your smartphone. As I said previously, with a journal, with an app or anything, you can keep track also of how much time you dedicate to both active and passive study, which is really, really important in order to create a balanced language learning routine and see the areas that lack of improvement and you need to work on. So it's really, really useful. It's also easy. Doesn't take that much time, so if you're always in a hurry and you're quite busy, you can also use an app on your smartphone. And I do not remember the name, but I discovered through a guy that is called Aiden, that goes by Aiden Studies on the net. There's an app that is called Poly. Maybe I will add it in the notes, so please look at the description and the notes section of the podcast episode. Okay, I promise I will add it. Then we have the last method, which is challenges. So on the net and social media, you can find different types of language learning challenges that are created by fellow creators, like the one that the Stroblani Studies is held in right now. I'm sorry, I was just going to say Chloe, but she goes by Stroblani Studies on the net, and all the names get overlapped in my head, so it's completely fine. Hope you won't mind, guys. And they're extremely useful because completing a task per day is a very good method and way to stay accountable, because it's a funny way to come up with new language learning strategies or routines, because you get ideas from the prompts of the challenges and you get to elaborate everything. So it's extremely interesting, especially if you want to challenge yourself. If you're a kind of competitive person, you have this competitive personality, I think the challenges are a great way not only to advance and to improve, but also to stay accountable, because you actually tick the prompt off from what you need to do from the day. It's like a to-do list basically, which is extremely rewarding when you complete a task and you just tick it off. It's amazing. But if you're a person like me that gets to be very busy almost every day, challenges can be quite difficult, because I tried to start several challenges, but after a couple of days I just give up because I'm too overwhelmed by all the things that I have to do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys, and see you next week. Bye bye.